नमस्कार, आप सभी का स्वागत है। मैं हूं राहुल और आप देख रहे हैं पीएम eVidya चैनल्स और NCERT का ऑफिशियल यूट्यूब चैनल। This is the time when we bring you the live telecast of webinar, and today's webinar is very special because we are celebrating Cyber Jagrookta Diwas। साइबर जागरूकता की जब बात आती है तो हम अपने फ़ोन के ज़रिए, अपनी इलेक्ट्रॉनिक डिवाइसेस के ज़रिए घिरे हुए हैं। नोटिफिकेशंस हमारे पास हर वक्त आ रहे हैं, हमारी बैंकिंग, हमारी डेटा, सारी चीज़ें जो है साइबर स्पेस में है। तो जाहिर सी बात है कि जागरूक होना बहुत ज़रूरी है और इसीलिए हम मना रहे हैं साइबर जागरूकता दिवस। ये क्यों विशेष है, मैं इसकी भूमिका आपको बता देता हूँ। What is Cyber Jagrookta Diwas? Ministry of Home Affairs is implementing a scheme called Indian Cyber Crime Coordination Center I4C to deal with the cyber crimes in a coordinated and comprehensive manner in order to create awareness amongst the students of schools, colleges, teachers and parents. It is proposed to observe Cyber Jagrookta Diwas on the first Wednesday of every month in all schools, colleges, universities and Panchayati Raj universities, institutions, municipalities by involving district magistrates, police authorities, officers, education departments, etc. तो ये एक ऐसा अभियान है जिसमें सभी को जोड़ने का प्रयास किया गया है, क्योंकि कोशिश भी सभी को जोड़ने की है। आज का हमारा ये सेशन जो है बहुत विशेष होने वाला है। आप भी अपने प्रश्न जो है, अपनी जिज्ञासा जो है, अपने संशय जो है, उन्हें ज़रूर हमारे साथ साझा कर सकते हैं। 8800440559 is the telephone number by which you can contact us. Also you can send us an email on cyberSafety@ciet.nic.in. This is the email ID. हम मेरे साथ स्टूडियो में प्रोफेसर इंदु कुमार हैं। आप CIET NCERT से ही हैं। मैम नमस्कार, आपका बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। अ वेरी वार्म वेलकम इन द सेशन।
थैंक यू।
आज का हमारा जो ये विशेष सत्र है उसे प्रोफेसर कुमार मॉडरेट करने वाली हैं और हमारे साथ दो खास मेहमान हैं इस पैनल में जो आज का हमारा ये सेशन लेने जा रहे हैं। मैं गुजारिश करूंगा प्रोफेसर इंदु मैडम से कि आप आज का सेशन शुरू करें, मॉडरेट करें।
Thank you very much. So today's topic is very, very important to observe Cyber Jagrookta Diwas. So associated to Jagrookta is the safety measures and concerns related to online gaming. So in today's world, a lot of children, many children and youth are into online gaming. At the one hand, online gaming provides us many opportunities. There are a lot of benefits related to online gaming because the gamers, the children who indulge into online gaming, they get an opportunity to meet new people. They get to know how to do teamwork, how to collaborate with others, and how to learn new things, how to learn strategy building while playing the game. So there are a lot to learn from online gaming. But as we know, there is a flip side of everything. Online gaming, it applies to online gaming as well. There are a lot of risks and threats involved when our children are into online gaming involved. So sometimes they are subjected to online bullying while playing games. Sometimes their personal information becomes vulnerable and strangers can do hacking and get their personal informations for misuse. They also get into, or they also subjected to introducing to some of the predators who groom them for unsocial behavior or for their own personal benefits, I must say, or own personal desires. So these are some of the risks. Apart from this, financial vulnerability is also one of the issue which needs to be tackled because there are a lot of hidden costs when we play online game, and once we are into online gaming and reach on to another level, the next level of the gaming, then this hidden costing comes into our notice. And a lot of dangers and risks are involved. So to learn about all this, how to make ourselves financially safe while playing, personally and socially safe and protected, what measures needs to be taken in terms of making safe personal identity personal identity, and also protecting our devices, also keep our devices protected. Sometimes children play using their parents' devices, and their bank accounts are also linked to it. So how to safeguard our devices, safeguard ourselves, and what measures schools need to take for keeping the children protected, how teachers need to be trained to on the different aspects of online gaming, are some of the concerns which we will be dealing in this session. So I have with me two experts who will be deliberating upon all these issues on this important occasion of Cyber Jagrookta Diwas. So I have with me Mr. Abhishek Singh, who is a research associate at Cyber Peace Foundation. Mr. Abhishek is a lawyer by profession, and he has completed his law from IP University, New Delhi. During the course of his curriculum, he has an exposure to various criminal, civil, and arbitration proceedings. He has also actively contributed towards various research papers for UNHCR, which have been ranked top 3 globally. He always had an inclination towards the techno-legal aspect of law, and currently he is working with Cyber Peace Foundation with the Policy and Advocacy Division as a research associate. Welcome, Mr. Abhishek. I also have with me Ms. Indraveni CH. She is working as Joint Director at Center for Development of Advanced Computing, CDAC, Hyderabad. Her interest area includes taking sessions on information security, web application security, ethical hacking, and general awareness on information security to various groups like parents, teachers, faculty, students, and children. So I welcome both the panelists to this session. And my first question will be from Ms. Indraveni. So the question is, does digital hacking leads to gambling? As I already mentioned, that there are finances also involved when children are into online gaming. Ms. Indraveni.
Yes, ma'am. Good afternoon. Yes, digital gaming, definitely there is a possibility that it can lead to gambling, because as you are also introducing about the hidden cost. Basically, gambling is an area where people put lot of money without knowing whether I will get that or not. Do I benefit out of it something or not? Same is happening in case of a digital gaming, where the kids are playing a lot and trying to buy a lot of energy, lives, and trying to put a lot of money, knowingly or unknowingly, into it. And the results can be win or a loss. It can be. So thus, yes, there are definitely chances of leading kids to get attracted towards gambling through the digital gaming also. So there are such environments available in games.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Indraveni. Can you also throw some light on how to protect our children so that they don't get into this online gambling which is associated to online gaming?
Yes, ma'am, sure. So basically, when the kids are actually playing, utilizing the digital gadgets for playing and all, they do not know whether they are trying to put money or not. They just try to click on buttons. If they are kids who are elder enough, they know, but still, since parents have given some liberty, they may still go ahead. So the only way to stop such thing is the parents have to take control on the the payment environments, like if it is a mobile device or smartphone, they can put controls like password protected for the apps, like wherever the payment related apps are there, they can put passwords. And there are mechanisms to pin a particular app in Android mobiles and all, which will try to protect doing other unnecessary activities while utilizing a specific app. So such facilities which are inbuilt in the devices, they can definitely use to control the payments that can happen through the mobile devices. And also, parents can actually utilize the parental control bars that are provided by the mobile devices, so that they can restrict the usage of different apps while they are playing. So in such way, by putting control on the accessibilities, we can try to stop such activities.
Okay, thank you, Indraveni, and that leads me to Mr. Abhishek for throwing some more light on the same aspect. And my question to him is, what household safeguards can be taken up by the parents to protect their children for safe online gaming? Mr. Abhishek.
Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am. Firstly, thank you for the invitation for the enlightening session on digital games and the need for safety. And there is no doubt that in today's time, need for safety, especially on the digital spectrum, has become an essential need for every individual, whether an adult or a child. And as we see, the influence of online gaming has taken up to a new height in the current age because of a lot of new games coming in. So these the issues related to online gaming, which can be tackled right from the household level by parents, should be that, as mentioned by the joint director itself, that the parents should be vigilant for the screen time of the children, as there are now applications and IoT devices and other applications which are available, which allow the parent to actually monitor the screen time of the child over any device over the house. Apart from that, the parents now need to start taking keen interest into the digital activity of the kid as well. Like, all the parents have the habit of talking to their kids about what they learned in school, how was the time, how they spend it with their friends. But now it is the time that parents needs to start getting involved upon the digital space of the children in order to make sure that they're not being influenced by some negative or illicit aspect. Secondly, they should consider the peer pressure on the children. In today's time, all the activities which are done by children over the social media platforms, oblique the online gaming platforms, are directly or indirectly a result of the peer pressure around them. And hence, seeing every friend of any child on the social media platform, it should not be taken as a threat. It should rather be taken as an advantage by the parents that the child is actually interacting with the people he knows physically. Even on the digital platform, he is interacting with people he knows physically. So the chances of any harm are totally negative. Secondly, as we are pushing towards a digital era and we realize the intensity and the importance of the digital peace and digital safety, it is high time now that parents start inculcating basics of cyber hygiene and safety practices among the children as basic part of the hygiene. We always, as the pandemic came across, every kid in the country knew about washing the hands, keeping themselves sanitized, how to prevent by wearing masks. So this kind of awareness is of paramount importance right now, especially by the parents towards the children, and to make them vigilant about what kind of dangers prevail over the online spectrum. And other household measures, one simple small solution could be, if children are using headphones while playing online games, parents should refrain their children from wearing headphones while playing online games, so that they know what kind of language they're adhering to, what kind of individuals they're playing across, and what kind of conversations they're having. So this is one of the most important things which parents can take up on household level and be vigilant for threats or crimes from the online gaming platforms.
Thank you, Abhishek. You very well said that managing the screen time of children is very, very important for protecting our children. It also helps them safeguard from some of the health hazard related to their physical and emotional and mental well-being. Apart from this, the monitoring the digital activity of our children is also very, very important, which is covered by you. And then you also said that, yeah, peer pressure, children come under peer pressure also, and they sometimes make friends to people who are not known to them. So interacting in cyber environment with people whom we already know is very, very important. And then you also raised the issue of cyber hygiene. Can you mention some aspects of cyber hygiene? What are the different aspects of cyber hygiene which need to be taken care of by parents, teachers, as well as children? Mr. Abhishek, yeah.
I would be very happy to elaborate on those aspects. Cyber hygiene in today's time is taken to be as a very complicated thing, but for anybody, it is as simple as any normal hygiene. So your cyber hygiene basically includes how to safeguard your digital presence over any device or any network. So the parents should actually start firstly with a routine of a device. The child should not be given any device, whether it's a mobile or a tab or a laptop, at any time during the day. There should be a routine set that during this time, during the day, during these hours, the tablet will be or the device will be given to the child, whether it's for the education purpose or for recreation purpose. A routine has to be maintained. Secondly, while these children are now getting access to social media platforms, the parents should actually tell them about real life instances of how the illicit trafficking over social media platforms and exposure to illicit content over social media platforms can take place, and how the same can be very dangerous for the child. And the other most important aspect which should be covered by parents in these nitty-gritties of cyber hygiene, firstly, is the radicalization. As I mentioned, the parents need to start talking about the digital presence of their child, whether it's on social media, whether it's a gaming platform, whatever platform it is. They need to be friendly with their child regarding the digital platform. That will actually help them to see and learn about anybody who's trying to influence their child in a negative way. So parents now, like in the previous era, used to safeguard their children by saying, don't talk to a stranger, never take anything to eat from a stranger. It is very similar to that. Don't talk to a stranger on the online platforms. Don't accept any request or anything from any unknown person on the platform. I always suggest and I always say that a virtual friend is as good as a no friend. So if you're friends with somebody and then virtually friends with them, that's the best thing. Otherwise, all children should avoid being virtually friends with somebody they don't know about.
Thank you very much, Abhishek. Apart from what you have focused upon, it is also very, very important to keep our devices or playing consoles following some hygiene measures, because sometimes we keep a lot of information on our devices. When we play also, our devices are vulnerable to hacking, because we put our personal information there, and sometimes username is also such that it indicates about your personal identity, which can be identified by these strangers, and they later on can groom the children into some unsocial aspects. So keeping the devices safe is also very, very important and protected. Apart from this, there are a lot of cyber crimes which are committed across world. India being the most, being the populous country, we have a large population of children who are vulnerable to cyber crimes, and in the past few decades, there is a marked increase in the cyber crimes. Mr. Abhishek, can you throw some light on what are the different types of cyber crime which online gaming can get our children into?
Yes, of course, ma'am. This is one of the most pressing questions which should be answered in regard to online oblique digital gaming. So, the cyber crimes which are committed over online platforms may range from something like a financial fraud. Some financial frauds are generally occurred in cases of in-app purchases which are made on the apps, and most in 90% of the times, it is found out that these frauds happen when a third-party app is used for making that purchase. Secondly, as mentioned by as mentioned by Professor Indu, the username of an individual is often taken, and hence that is just one of the steps towards the next crime, which is called identity theft. Sharing your credentials over online gaming platforms, whether it's your name, whether it might be your banking details, your card details, indirectly or directly, it leads to identity theft. And the sad part about identity theft is that 90% of the victims are unaware of the unaware of the consequences of what they'll face by sharing their information. Next thing is online grooming oblique radicalization. In today's time, as we see, due to the pandemic, the screen time of every individual has increased exponentially, whether it's a child or an adult. But now this factor has also been taken into consideration by the by the cyber criminals. Hence, now they try to find vulnerable accounts, oblique vulnerable individuals who they know to be minor, and they know that they can be very easily brainwashed or radicalized or groomed into any aspect they want. This further leads to the another step, which is another crime, which is cyber-enabled human trafficking. We have found instance as Cyber Peace Foundation during research on online gaming has found instances of victims being lured into the traps of trafficking by online gaming platforms and online streaming gaming streaming platforms like Twitch and YouTube as well. So this is of paramount importance that, as I said before, do not interact with anybody unknown. These are the crimes which lead to them. Furthermore, as a lot of devices require your permission to get access to your microphone and sometimes to your camera in cases related to games of augmented reality. These permissions should be given to the games which are downloaded from certified platforms like like App Store and Google Play Store. Otherwise, these platforms are often used to spy upon people by the use of the microphone and camera, and further lead to dissemination of child sex abuse material and child sex exploitation material. Apart from this, there are various groups, there are various hacker groups, black hat hacker groups who are looking for vulnerable accounts, whether financial or social presence in social media, which is later then used to commit offenses using the darknet oblique the deepnet. Hence, creating a loop of problems for an individual about which he might not even be aware of. So these are the kind of cyber crimes which are currently prevailing in our cyberspace because of the advent of online gaming.
Thank you, Mr. Abhishek. Associated to online gaming is, as I already mentioned, and which is also a burning topic these days, the financial vulnerability. So building a secure digital financial ecosystem is also very, very important for safe online gaming. So my next question is to Ms. Indraveni. So Ms. Indraveni, can you tell us how to protect ourselves from hidden payments associated to online gaming?
Yeah, ma'am, actually to protect ourselves from the hidden payments and ensure that our personal information is also protected, to all of these things, the only way is, number one, as it's been told, like we need to ensure that we download or use the games which are from authenticated or trusted sources. However, while picking up the game also, it is the responsibility of the parents and even the elder kids to understand whether that game has any internal advertisements, whether the game has any hidden costs. Usually, the public platforms like Play Store and all, though the apps can be pushed by any people, it can be genuine or non-genuine, but the comments that come from the Play Store are usually from public. So it is somebody who is really using, they are trying to tell us that there are some hidden charges into it and advertisements into it and all. So we need to look into those comments and reviews, understand whether the games have something internally, advertisements and all. Through that, we need to choose the right app. And nextly, we need to ensure that the apps has the right permissions. Like every device, it's not only about the mobiles. In case of mobile, it is more dangerous because the mobile is a simple smartphone which is having everything inbuilt into it. Be it a payment app or be it an emailing solution, be it an SMS box, everything is there in a single thing. So one vulnerable app coming into the device can create a havoc for all the financial activities because it can read the messages, it can automatically read the OTP that is coming into the mobile device and so on. So when we are installing the apps, it is important to see what permissions the app is taking from the Android settings. Go to the, there is a provision in the devices to see which app is taking how many of permissions in the system. And also whether those permissions are taken all the time or they are being utilized by the app only when the app is using. Such kind of restrictions are provided by the base mobile devices Android itself, which will actually help users to control the usability of these things. So through that, by seeing whether my app is having a permission of the other devices in my systems, whether the app has a permission for using my payments and all such things we can control. And parents need to protect these apps, the Google Pay, all the UPI apps, even the internet banking related, whatever we do, those apps have to be password protected. So in a simple way, the parents can actually look into the mobiles. If it is a smartphone which you are having, you recently using Android phone, most smartphones are coming with an option of secure folder. So we can choose the secure folder option, set up a password and bring in all the protected apps which you actually want to protect from unauthorized activities which can happen through while playing games even when we are not accessing it also. So by moving those apps into the secure folder, we can actually protect the data that can be misused by through these apps while gaming. So through that, these hidden costs, even if the child is playing a game, suddenly there is a pop-up coming, you can buy for more lives by paying so much of amount. Even if they choose unknowingly to pay the amount, since the app is in the protected zone in a secure folder, the payment would not happen. In that way, the parents can actually control, they need to ensure those security settings are placed well before on the devices. Moreover, we need to ensure that avoid giving the devices to the children without any supervision and all. We have to ensure that the systems and their play environments are actually being placed in a place where everybody can see. As Mr. Abhishek is also mentioning, they should not use headphones. Similarly, they have to be doing their activities when everybody is watching them. It should be in a public mode. They have to sit in a family room and all. And through that, we will be able to protect unknown, unmalicious activities which can lead these kind of hidden payment processings or accessing the permissions from the devices kind of things.
Thank you, Indraveni. You throw light on a lot of important aspects of online gaming, which relates to keep our devices protected and keep our accounts also protected, and install games from the trusted sources, not from any sources, and keep all those games in a protected folder so that these games are not linked to the bank account of children's parents, and they don't get into financial fraud or paying money for the games they are playing, and that is how getting into a habit of gambling also. While being in an online environment playing games, we also share our audio and video with the team we are playing with or with the friends we are playing with. So it also poses a lot of threats because the webcam also get into some unknown zones where other people are also watching them. So what are the webcam worries, and why, what measures or precautions to be taken while sharing their audio and video while playing games is also very, very important. Ms. Indraveni, can you throw some light on what are the webcam worries and what preventive measures can be taken by the players to prevent
Yes,
from.
ma'am, sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So I will just merge this question, webcam worries along with the mic recordings. Both together we can try to understand. Basically, whenever a game is being played, as I was mentioning earlier also, any app, any mobile device or any game will be utilizing so many features that are there in a device. For example, if you are playing a game even on a smartphone today, smart TV, the TV also is coming out with a mic. And if I'm playing with a mobile, the mobile is already having a camera and a mic inbuilt. So all of these features which are inbuilt in the recent gadgets today are having access to these apps, which we are actually trying to download and play while on the TV or on the devices. So as we discussed, definitely the permissions is very first thing. Even after we take the permissions, while I'm using the app itself, if it is being allowed, so the kid has to be told clearly how to know whether the camera is being used and how do I identify that it is on turn on mode. And we need to make sure that we buy, if it is a system or laptops, we need to purchase cameras which will have a lights into it, which will try to show us that yes, the camera is now on and it is off kind of a thing. But if it is a kid who is very young enough, who cannot understand such things, the simple solution is close the camera eye with some tape or some paper, which will try to hide everything that is happening over there. And with respect to the mic also, as we discussed, we need to give proper permissions and all. And by pinning the apps, the pinning an app is one security feature that is there in the Android phones. By doing that, whenever an app is being used, a game is being played out, we can try to make sure that other services of the device will not be running. Through that also, automatic mic recordings and all can be stopped. Because as we were discussing, these apps, though they are made out of fun, there are a lot of hackers around the world who is trying to put lot of hidden malwares which will try to automatically record what is happening in your rooms. If at all we are talking something personal or we are trying to share some credentials within ourselves, all of those can be recorded offline and sent off. This criticality of what can happen should actually be discussed, as it has been told earlier also. Child and parent should interact. So during that interaction, they have to tell the child if something goes wrong, what is the result. Once the impact is known to the child, definitely they won't do. Because they know that if some harm is happening, what is the result if they are understanding, definitely we can see that the child would not repeat such an activity. So we need to explain them that this way mics can be there can be cameras which will turn on without your knowledge. They may record your mother, they may record the room. This will create a problem. These kind of interactions we have to do with the child. So that the child will be well aware of, and they can also tell to the parent openly that at this time my camera turned on, I do not know what happened. That way they should also be openly coming up and talking to us. But a simple solution about the worries of these things, hidden malwares and all, we are nowhere to know what it is. Only thing as a parent what we can do, ensure that we have a proper antivirus solutions in the systems, mobiles, or whatever device we are using. Ensure that the cameras are closed with the tape or any paper kind of a thing. Ensure that the cameras have a light which will indicate that the camera is turned on or turned off. Similarly for the mic also, we can have an indicator. Try to procure such a device which will help us to easily identify that. So these kind of precautionary measures, if we follow, we will be able to protect the things. Similarly, one more thing with respect to identity I would like to add is that whenever a child is trying to create their profile on the gaming platforms, recommended to avoid using their original names. Do not put their personal photographs as avatars. So all of these apps are creating problems even with these avatars, the skins that are coming. They also have inbuilt malwares to control the cameras and mics. So we need to make sure that they use the right ones and hide their personal identities from the gaming environments.
Thank you, Indrabeni, for throwing light on what are the different kinds of webcam worries and why should we protect ourselves from sharing audio and videos also while online gaming. The bullying while playing and harassment are two important dangers which our children encounter while playing. So my next question is from Mr. Abhishek, what are the different kinds of bullying and harassment that children encounter, and how should they protect themselves from such bullying and encounter? So definitely they should report when they are being harassed or bullied. So there need to be a conducive environment at home also, when children share with their parents, and also at schools with their trusted ones, that is teachers, if they are facing any kind of harassment and bullying. So can you please tell us how to protect children from harassment and bullying while playing games, and how they get into such harassment and bullying? Mr.
Yes,
Abhishek.
ma'am. Of course, this is a worry of every house, I'm sure, with the children who are engaged into online gaming, and how to safeguard against bullying and harassment. So, as I said earlier, that the online activity of a child, especially, is basically a reflection of his peer pressure. Anybody would be playing a game only because somebody told him that that it is an exciting game, or because his friends are engaged into the game. Now, the major issue which comes across is that in cases of online gaming, there are various accomplishments which a child comes across. Supposingly crossing a level, reaching a certain level in the game, getting unlocked some new features in the game. These are the kind of things which keep the kids instigated. But now, when a child is unable to cope up with the accomplishments in the game, or probably is not able to cope up with the accomplishments of his peer, he is often subjected to cyberbullying. So, as I mentioned earlier, that the first and the foremost resort should be informing the parents about this. As anything which happens, the lucky and the good part about the cyber and the digital space is that a proof and that, or else an evidence of everything remains in the cyberspace. So, for example, if anybody is trying to bully a children over the chat room of an online game, the screenshots can be taken to show it to relevant people, whether it's the parents, whether it's the teachers. Sometimes children are not very comfortable with the parents, maybe because the parents are working, the father stays away, maybe. But in some cases, children are fond of their teachers. So these kind of evidences can be shown to the teachers or the parents who are much more, qualified and smarter to actually interpret the ideology or the knowledge of the bullier, not the person who's trying to bully the other person across. Secondly, I would also like to mention about the as the harassment over online games is mentioned. Always make sure to as we always in the general society, we always say that if something wrong is happening, always report it. Report it to the police, report it to the concerned authorities. Similarly, on the online gaming platforms, every individual, every gamer, every player has the right to report for illicit content, bad language, using other hacks or big mods on the game. Hence, this should be inculcated in the children itself, that as soon as anybody sends or says or in any indirect way also tries to signify something negative or illicit towards you, report that individual. And the gaming companies, since as an organization, Cyber Peace Foundation has been working with the gaming companies to create a secure cyberspace. The gaming companies have assured that they have a very rigid and a strong mechanism for reporting the individuals who are involved in such bad activities. Hence, the aspect of reporting should be inculcated by the teachers as well as the parents in order to give confidence to the child himself, that if somebody says something wrong to me or somebody sends something bad to me, I'll report that guy, and that person will be checked by the authorities. And simultaneously, the equal involvement by parents as well as the teachers. And in school level, I would always suggest that teachers who are involved in computer science and programming and coding should show some inclination, oblique interest towards what kind of games the children are playing, because it cannot be hidden that children are not playing games. It is not a unspoken reality. Everybody is playing games, whether adult or children. So the teacher should actually inculcate maybe 15 minutes after a class regarding what kind of games an individual is playing, what is the ideology of that game set. Because if you see games like FIFA, NBA, or Formula One, and these games have actually been proven to improve team building, strategy building, and the motor skills of the children, because these games keep the children involved in the mental capacity of a sport. Hence, these kind of interactions need to be initiated at school level from the right age, from the middle school, I would suggest, as that is the foundational step of the child into the cyberspace and as well onto the gaming platforms. Secondly, I would also like to mention that in the Asian Games 2022, games like Dota, PUBG, Free Fire were involved in the Asian Games. So rather than taking online games as a threat, we should actually take it as an opportunity that if we inculcate the right cybersecurity aspects into the children, give them the correct teachings about online gaming, they can be the future ones to bring laurels to the country. As in today's time, Commonwealth Games are going on, everybody is stick to their TVs and hoping for India to win a medal. In the times to come, digital games and e-games will be present in such sporting events. Hence, if we inculcate these things in the children now, we might actually be ahead of the curve in the future to actually have good players coming out of the country. Rather than being scared about what might happen, we actually have the chance of creating good players who can bring laurels to the country. Hence, it is a double-edged sword, I would say. There are advantages and there are disadvantages like any other technology. But right now, we have the option to negate the disadvantages and take the technology to our advantage and for the generations to come.
Yeah, very rightly said, Abhishek, that it's a double-edged sword. And if we take precautions and focus on the positive aspect of online gaming, there is a lot to learn from the gaming. Or if we focus upon the negative aspects, don't keep ourselves protected, then it can become a threat also. So there need to be taken up some preventive measures also while playing game to keep ourselves safe from bullying and harassment. So we should make sure that we are playing with known people. We are not getting into the stranger, into the gaming environment we are playing in. Only the known people should be allowed as a team to play. Otherwise, we will be vulnerable and we will be harassed and bullied by the people. And apart from this, we can also keep our chattings disabled while playing, so that using the chat option, the strangers cannot make obscene comments and bully or harass the players which are playing in a close game. So taking a preventive measures is also very, very important while getting into online gaming. So are there any scams also associated to online gaming? So I would like to pose this question to Ms. Indraveni. Are there any scams associated to it, and what kind of scams are there, and how to prevent ourselves from scams? Indraveni.
Yes, ma'am. So yes, definitely in the digital gaming there are scams. The major scam is related to the phishing, where while playing the games, children are being put out, redirected to the websites which seem to be the original site for some related to the gaming, or they may be shown up to a page of a Gmail or authenticated Facebook and being asked that you share your current status of your game. You have won so many marks. You show your status on your Facebook, social networking for your friends. But actually they are being redirected to a phishing website of Facebook or Gmail, wherein they land up into entering their credentials, and once they enter in that particular phishing site, the credentials are being hacked out. So phishing scam is one of the major scams that we can see in the digital gaming environments. And along with this, through these phishing scams only, we keep on seeing that the news about the passwords being stealed out. Children are being claiming, there are blogs. Basically, blogs are aimed for kids to actually claim their free Roblox kind of a things. You just download this game and install, you'll be getting free lives for so and so game. So people, like it's been told, kids are so much addicted to games that friends say that some game is very nice, means to download that game they will be asked to access something else also. These are all kind of scams which are actually making the kids being tempted towards doing that activity. Be it phished websites, be it installation of an app which he doesn't know or something new. So these kind of things should be made known to the children and ensure that the kids are made well aware about these things. Similarly, there are scams related to the payments also happening. Basically, this called as a loot boxes. Most apps are even having loot boxes. Loot boxes in some of the apps in some countries, they also term it as bundles, crates, or cases. Through these also, they try to inculcate the hidden costs to just make the usage, more usage of the apps and of the gaming and all. And by procuring the skins, they will be able to again put up hidden costing and all. So these are all in a way scam only. They want to actually make their app more popular, but they actually show as if that he is trying to, the game owner is trying to give the child more powers, more energies to move towards further levels in the games. But actually what he is trying is, in the background, he is trying to steal out the money, he is trying to steal the passwords, but the actual scam is towards making the kid addicted to the games, making him utilize, give lot of information, whatever information he is having about himself, he tried to land up in filling up the details that are thrown by these apps, and the information once given is lost. So we know anything that go to the cyberspace once, we cannot revert it back, we can never delete it also. So the information has been gone. So these are all kind of scams through the gaming apps that people are targeting to kids and are making that the information is being stilled out.
Okay, thank you, Indraveni, for throwing some light on the kind of online scams that can happen while playing games. So, Abhishek, the gaming, online gaming is a big industry which provides our opportunity to unblock a lot of development of online games. So it's a popular industry these days. So on the one hand, there are a lot of anti-social games which are there, which our children get vulnerable to get into addiction of such anti-social online gaming. So how do we make the industry aware for creating more and more pro-social game? Is Cyber Peace Foundation doing any such activity to take this aspect into consideration? So how to protect from anti-social gaming and how to get our children into more and more pro-social gaming? Quickly throw light on this question because we are running short of time. So I give you 1 minute to dwell on this question. Mr. Abhishek.
So Cyber Peace Foundation in its capacity is actually one of the trusted flaggers by online platforms like YouTube. So we as an organization take it as a fundamental responsibility to report the negative and the illicit content and make sure it comes to the consideration of the authorities. Secondly, apart from that, it gives me, I'm happy to announce that the ministry itself is taking a very elaborated and a very consolidated step towards securing the online gaming as well as the gambling platform as they intend to tax the incomes by online game. Now this creates an issue for the scammers as well as the fraudsters because now the games were free. Initially the games were free. Hence the people enrolling into such games were high in number. So it was easy for them to take out data. Now for something which will be quantified at a rate and something which will be taxed and regulated by the government will definitely work towards creating a better, safe online gaming platform. Apart from that, we also run a helpline called the Cyber Peace Helpline, which can be used by anybody who thinks he's a victim or potentially a victim to any cyber crime happening on the online gaming platform. And we take it as our responsibility to make sure that the grievance is addressed within 24 hours by the platform on which the crime or the potential crime might have taken place.
Thank you, Abhishek. So in today's session, we discussed a lot of aspects related to the safety concern while online gaming. and some of the prominent ones being protecting ourselves from the predators, strangers, keeping our username very safe, not sharing the credential with these strangers, getting into playing online games only with the people whom we know, and also related to financial, the threats related to financial vulnerability. So I would like to thank here the experts who were present in today's session and who dwelled upon many important aspects of safe online gaming. So with this, I would like to hand over to Rahul for closing the session formally. Rahul.
Thank you very much, all the panelists, Ms. Indranee ji and Mr. Abhishek Singh. Thank you very much for your time and your expertise and your best views, I must say, in this important session. And I would like to share one of the important pages with you. I would request my technical team to show the screen on which, yes, this is the site of our institute, Central Institute of Educational Technology, and go to the event section, and then you find this tab, workshop and training. Click on it, and this is the capacity building through online training and virtual workshop. This is the current activity which is available.
So they will get all the schedules.
Yes,
schedules of online
as
training.
we are celebrating Cyber Jagrookta Diwas series, theme for the August, safe digital gaming. Click on it and you will get all the information about these special sessions which we are bringing here. So today is the 3rd August and we had a discussion on need for safety, digital games, and the next session will be on 5th of August, and the topic of the discussion, digital games, risks and ways to combat. So all these things are there, objectives and who can participate: students, teachers, teacher educators, parents, administrators, general public. Everybody is, are the stakeholders of this session. You may find the resource person's name and the details of the sessions, and by this way you can easily participate. This is the registration link, or you can scan this QR code, and the other details are there for you. cybersafety@ciet.nic.in is the email ID, as I rightly mentioned in the beginning. So this is the important information I would like to share with you all. And I'm sure, Professor Hindu, this should be a wrap up now, as we don't have much time. Would you like to say something for a minute?
I would just like to thank Mr. Abhishek and Indranee, who shared their valuable views for our viewers on safe online gaming. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, मैम, आपके इस रिमार्क के लिए. हमारा ये इम्पोर्टेंट सेशन यहीं समाप्त होता है. आप कहीं मत जाइएगा, थोड़ी ही देर में हाजिर होंगे सहयोग सेशन लेकर. देखते रहिए PM eVidya चैनल्स और NCERT का ऑफिशियल यूट्यूब चैनल. नमस्कार.